Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Orange County Funding Corporation meeting for December 20th, Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. It is 5:04 p.m. We're going to call the meeting to order and ask for everyone to stand for pledge of allegiance to flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Bill, roll call, please.
Sure. Dean Tamburri.
Present.
Giovanni Pellegrino.
Present.
James Rinaldi.
Present.
Mark Green.
Present.
Jeffrey Christ.
Present.
Susan Walski.
Present.
And Dr. Vincent Odak is not here. We have 6 or 7 members here.
Present.
Also, just to inform you on staff, myself, Bill Fioravanti, Kelly Riley, Marty Barras, we're all here. Our counsel, our general counsel, Susan Katzoff, our bond counsel, Chris Canada. We also have Mr. Jose Rojas, and leaving now, Mr. Iverson, Billy Iverson from Acquisitions Marketing, handling our AV and live stream. We also have a few guests. We have Mr. Connor Eckert from the Orange County Partnership, and representing Sapa Hospitality, we have Mr. Sonny Patel and Mr. Louis DiCostanzo. I think I have everyone else. That's all. And here comes Dr. Odak. Welcome, sir.
Hey, welcome,
We'll take you right to the end,
How
sir.
are you, man?
We just began.
Welcome. Thank you and welcome, everyone. So the proof of notice which is attached is duly properly noticed for this meeting tonight. In the minutes of November 15th, 2023 are attached. It was sent out. Thank you. We have it in front of you. If anyone make a motion to accept those.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Giovanni. Second.
Second.
Any questions, any comments for those minutes? If not, I'll ask a motion to accept. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. All approved, thank you. And we go into reports. We just had our Finance Committee report. They asked Mr. Mark Green if you will give us a synopsis of what we went over for approval for this board. Thank you.
Certainly. So we are on the funding, right?
Yes, thank you.
So the easy one. Really not much new for the month of November. A little bit of interest coming in as far as revenue goes, so $195 and change. We had some legal expenses and the insurance expense, so net, just over $1,200 going out on that. We discussed Orange County funding real quick. There was just a misbilling that occurred. It should have gone to the IDA instead of was charged to OCFC. So one as far as voucher payment, $4,773. And on the resiliency, we are at 89%. We actually had someone pay in full, so we only now have 2 no payments of $20,000, and we are ahead of where our write-off was. So now this is just money coming in. The thought is that we will continue this for the calendar year 2024 as money keeps dribbling in out of mostly fairness to the people that have paid in full. And then finally, we talked about CDs. We have a CD coming due. That's usually on page 6, if I'm not mistaken. So we have, with interest, it'll be probably around 1.74, I'm guessing. What we've decided to do, because interest rates have reached an inversion where longer-term rates are now cheaper than shorter-term rates, because there is a built-in expectation that in 2024, interest rates will be coming down. The word on the street is 2 to 3 cuts by end of spring, beginning summer. So the thought was for us that we didn't want to, lock up everything. So the committee decided we would do, looking at rates and such, that we would do $600,000 in a 6-month JP Morgan, which would get us over 5.1%. We would do 600,000 in a 1 year with Lakeland. That would get us 5.1%, and then the remainder, which would be roughly 500 and let's call it 70,000, 580, would be in a 3-month with TD at 5.35%. This way we have flexibility in case we need that money for shovel ready or anything like that. Any thoughts or questions?
No.
Did I go too deep? Or should I have glossed over more?
No, that's very good.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Mark. So with that, we're gonna ask for approval of the finance committee, correct? Process.
Sue Katzoff, do we individually need to approve the reports for each committee? Would you like us to do?
Yes.
Right.
Just wanted to be clear.
I would move the finance committee report and then move on to governance, if
Got it.
that's what you want.
Very good,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, just double checking, thank you. So ask for a motion to accept Mark Green's synopsis of the finance committee and have that as a record. Thank you, Jeff. Second? Second. Dr. Odock, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved, we'll accept the finance committee meeting, move forward. Governance. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'll just provide a quick synopsis. We had our governance committee meeting last night. Really, it was mostly in preparation for our reorganization meeting that'll happen in January. But we handled all the business we needed to through committee, and then we'll in January we'll handle this as a full board. We reviewed our slate of officers that are being nominated for 2024. We've shared that all with you because every member did get a copy of that. And the governance committee did approve recommending that going forward to the full board. Also included in that are committee assignments. So really most everyone's committees are the same. We are adding Mr. Chris to governance and to finance. We are going to ask Mr. Green to chair finance. He's been doing a lot of work when it comes to that. And we're going to add Mr. Tamburri to the audit committee. But really everything else is the same, but we'll be authorizing that slate, confirming that slate in the January meeting again. Also at that time, we'll be doing our annual update, or annual reporting, essentially. I've shared with all of you a complete matrix of our active projects since this administration has been in place. So I provided last night a real overview of where these projects stand. I'll do that for the full board in January when it comes to that. And also as part of, in good form, in keeping with ABO standards and such, the IDA should review all of their policies every year. So we did that last night as well. I shared with the entire board our copies of our policies. We had discussions about it. We'll be recommending our UTEP, and then one of the policies, a minor change that we're going to take a look at for local labor policy, but we'll be discussing that again in January. So it was a very productive meeting. We're all prepared for the, again, the reorganization that will happen in January. But that was the thrust of governance.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask for a motion for this. There really wasn't any, there wasn't anything approved or not, but I would like to ask for a motion to.
Go ahead, Sue's trying to chime in. Go ahead, Sue. Are you?
Well, there's nothing that the board is being asked to approve, so I don't think you need a motion to do anything. It was just FYI, at your January meeting, there will be recommendations coming out of the committee for the board's consideration.
Okay.
But to my question a few minutes ago, we will have the board approve the report or accept the report formally. That was our question a couple minutes ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you asked me if we were going to vote on the separately.
Yes, no, I was just asking if we need to vote to accept each report, the governance committee report and the finance committee report.
If you want to accept the reports as provided, then yes, you can vote on them independently as you did with the finance committee. But with respect to governance committee, I think with the finance committee, there was information that you were making certain investments, correct?
Correct.
Yes. But we didn't vote on
Was that a
those
yes, Sue?
investments.
Yes.
Yes.
I
So,
don't mean to bog us.
Right. That's why, for me, I would vote on that. With respect to governance, what you're laying out, Bill, is just letting the board know that come January at your annual meeting, there will be recommendations coming out of the governance committee that you will seek full board approval on.
Correct.
So if you want to just keep the record the way you've been doing it and make a motion to accept the report you gave tonight, that is perfectly fine. If you want to hold off until there's actionable items, you can do that in January.
I said we vote to accept the report. I said we did the finance.
Correct. I'll make a motion to accept Bill's report of the governance committee. For a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, want to add to that? Anyone? If not, I'll ask for to accept the governance report. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The governance report is accepted. Thank you, Bill. And we'll move on to new business for the Orange County Funding Corporation, and we'll look for the accept the November 2023 financials. The committee reviewed the report, is recommending to approve the report of the financials as submitted. As Mark described and outlined.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Sue. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jeff. Any questions, comments? If not, ask for everyone to accept them or make a motion to accept. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And approval of the November, December payables. I think Mark did a pretty good job describing all of that. And the one bill that has to be switched to the IDF. So with that, I'll make a motion to accept the approval of the November and December payables.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And accept the COVID-19 resiliency loan update. As Mark again reviewed, ask for a motion for that.
Motion.
Thank you, Sue. Second. Dr. Odock, any questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Certificate of deposit options that Mark again described. And for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Giovanni. Second.
Second.
Second, Jeff. Any questions, comments on that? If not, ask for approval for that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Anything else, Bill, for the Orange County Funding Corporation?
We're ready to adjourn.
Okay. With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn the Orange County Funding Corporation meeting at 5:16 p.m. For a second.
Second.
Thank you, Sue. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. And we'll move right into our IDA meeting. So call the IDA meeting to order at December 20th, Wednesday, December 20th at 5:17 p.m. The meeting's called order. Roll call of officers, please, Bill.
Dean Tamburri,
Present.
Giovanni Palladino,
Present.
James Rinaldi, Mark Green,
Present.
Dr. Vincent Oda,
Present.
Jeffrey Christ,
Present.
Susan Walsky.
Present.
7 of 7 members present. Staff-wise, Kelly Riley, Marty Barras, and myself, Bill Fioravanti, are here. We have Mr. Jose Rojas with acquisitions marketing, handling our live stream. We have our general counsel, Susan Katzoff, and bond counsel, Chris Canada. A few guests. We have Mr. Connor Eckert from the Orange County Partnership, Mr. Sonny Patel and Louis D. Costanzo from Sapa Hospitality. And we also have joining us remotely representatives from the Walk Hill Preservation Limited Partnership, Charlotte Lefkowitz, Wes McLean, and Alex Wood. Those are everyone in attendance.
Very good. Thank you. And welcome, everyone. The minutes, we're going to do minutes for approval of the November 15th, 2020 Board of Director meeting minutes that are attached and were sent to anybody, to everyone earlier. If anybody would like to make a motion to move that.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Giovanni. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jeff. Any questions? If not, ask for, is all in favor to accept?
Aye.
Thank you. And moving on to new business.
And sir, I was hoping we could handle new business and come back to our reports.
I apologize.
To our
for that.
guests. That's okay.
So we're gonna go to new business, correct? And we're gonna move down to who's gonna go, who's first, I guess.
We,
Sappa.
you know, if you wanna approve the financials, as we've done here, I think we could probably do that fast enough, or you would rather wait on that, Mark? What do you think?
I'd rather.
Understood, okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. So, Sapa Hospitality, yes.
Okay, so we're gonna move to new business at Sapa Hospitality, presentation for the final resolution.
Sue.
Good evening, everyone. In your agenda for this evening is the final resolution for Sapa Hospitality. I just will go over a couple of historical facts about it. It's located at 12 Ben Gilman Way. It's the construction of a 5-story, 81,000 square foot hotel and related amenities. The request is the authorization to undertake the project. The project is seeking financial assistance in the form of state and local sales and use tax in an amount not to exceed $1,444,636.92 and mortgage recording tax in the approximate amount of $138,000. The Town of Wallkill Planning Board previously undertook a seeker review of this matter and reviewed the full EAF submitted by the applicant, and they issued a negative declaration with respect to the project, and you would be adopting those findings with respect to this matter. The resolution before you authorizes the undertaking of the project and the conference of the financial assistance outlined. It authorizes the appointment of the company as your agent for purposes of completing this project, and authorizes the CEO and the chairman to execute all necessary lease transactional documents to undertake the project and confer the financial assistance. You will note that the public hearing was held and you were provided with a copy of the transcript from that, and at the time we also received correspondence from both the Director of Tourism and Film and the Director of Economic Development for Orange County, indicating the necessity that these rooms will provide for tourism, that they are going to attract visitors from outside the county and are a necessary and integral part of tourism. So with that, that outlines the resolution for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, Sue.
Sure.
So we just move on to a vote. Do you want to add to anything?
Sue, we're just looking for a motion in a second, and then any discussion?
Yes, that's correct.
Discuss first, then motion, or?
Usually a motion in a second, then discussion before a vote.
No, okay, sorry.
So we'll need a motion from
I'll
someone.
make the motion.
Thank you, Giovanni. Second?
I'll second.
Second, Jeff. Any questions, comments?
Well, no, I heard Wallkill, I heard negative. I'm assuming that's like a X-ray. It came back negative, so everything was fine.
Exactly.
Everything was good, right?
Exactly. That's right. It's like an
A
X-ray.
negative declaration issued by the agency undertaking the seeker review indicates that they did not find that there would be a significant environmental impact as a result of the project.
Good. All right, and the town of Wallkill, everyone, were there any?
Absolutely, and we've been in communication through the entire project. I want to make sure you can see the applicants as well, but we've been in constant communication with the town all through it. They're completely in support of this project, the way it's structured.
Fantastic,
Absolutely.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions?
No, I think it'll, besides affecting tourism, I think it will also be helpful locally because the hospital is also right there.
Mhm.
So people who have, friends and family who are patients here, it will give them a nice place to stay.
Yes.
To remind you, I'm recusing myself.
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Rinaldi has recused himself because of other business indirectly related to the applicant.
Okay. So we have a first and a second for this, and then other than Jim Rinaldi, ask for a vote. No, let's do a
Roll call, absolutely.
on this.
Okay, we have our motion and our second, right? Dean Tamburri,
Yes.
Giovanni Palladino,
Yes.
Mark Green,
Yes,
Dr. Vincent Oda.
Yes.
Jeffrey Christ,
Yes.
Susan Walsky.
Yes,
6 ayes, 1 abstention.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good luck,
We'll be in
guys.
touch for the follow-up, okay? Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for coming out.
Thank you. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck to you, everyone. Yes, thank you.
Have a good night.
Yes, you too. And now we're gonna go to the Walk Hill Living Center.
Yes, we are. Mr. Canada.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So you have before you a bond resolution relating to the Wallkill Preservation Limited Partnership Project. As you will undoubtedly recall, this relates to the refurbishment of an existing low-income senior housing facility in the town of Wallkill, approximately 160,000 square feet, 136 apartment units. You'll recall back in October, this board adopted an initial resolution that did a few things. It called for a public hearing to be held with respect to the project, which has already taken place. And it also made a seeker determination that this is a type 2 project for purposes of seeker. That's because it fits into that category because you're just doing a reconstruction and rehabilitation of the existing facility. So that's a type 2 project, and seeker is done for our purposes. At this point, and Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, after some back and forth with the company and others, at this point, the applicant is only seeking the issuance of tax-exempt bonds for this project.
Correct.
It's not seeking sales tax exemption, mortgage tax exemption, or a pilot. So it's just the tax-exempt bond. So before we go forward, just a few housekeeping items. Since these are tax-exempt bonds, you would need the applicable elected representative of the county to approve the issuance of the bonds. In this case, it would be the county executive. So that will need to take place after this bond, if it moves forward. After this bond resolution, rather. The second thing is these bonds are special bonds under section 142 of the code related to residential, basically low-income housing projects. And you'll need volume caps that's issued by the state. So that would be also something that would need to be taken care of in 2024 when these bonds are issued. So the resolution is subject to those conditions being taken care of before the issuance of the bonds. It's the language in this resolution making those conditions. But what this will do is authorize the issuance of the bonds. It finds that this is a project under the IDA statute. It authorizes the chair, the vice chair, and the CEO of the IDA to execute documents in connection with the issuance of the bonds. And that's the big ticket items. Happy to answer any questions for you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. So, Chris, my question is, so the county exec you had said had to sign off, and what was the other condition related to? Can you repeat that again, please?
Yeah, so the other condition is these bonds are subject to volume caps. Certain types of tax-exempt bonds are subject to what's called volume caps. Volume caps get doled out across the country, and New York State provides this to all the public authorities, different amounts, basically based on population. So the Orange County ID will receive a certain amount of volume cap in January of 2024. Presumably, if I remember correctly, this won't be enough to cover the bonds. So we would have to ask for another additional allocation from the state in January, very common. It's a simple application that we would help the IDA through. And once that additional volume cap is received, in other words, you have to have enough volume cap. If you issue $25 million in bonds, you have to have $25 million in volume cap. So the bonds you could not issue those bonds until that volume cap was procured.
And how do we, is there a way to increase our volume cap for that? Or that
You requested it from the state.
Okay, but that's it. So
Yeah,
you
sure.
all started at one level, and there's not like you can ask for a larger, like a minimum
For each
amount
year,
before
I'm
that?
not sure about that part, but it is commonplace for you to ask for an increase to your volume cap as needed based upon projects.
Yep.
Anything else for Chris related to this, the project? If not, I will ask for a motion to approve the bond resolution as presented and described from Chris Canada.
Also move.
Thank you, Jeff. Second, Dr. Orak, you second. Thank you, Dr. Orak. Any questions? Any other questions or comments? If not, ask for motion to accept.
Make the motion.
Should we do a roll for this? I
Sure,
apologize.
absolutely.
So that was my
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do a roll for
call,
this.
yeah.
Excellent. Dean Tamburri,
Yes.
Palladino,
Yes.
Rinaldi,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Oda,
Yes.
Christ,
Yes.
Walsky,
Yes,
7 ayes.
Thank you. Okay.
I'd just like to thank the applicants. They've been terrific to work with. Alex, Wes, Charlotte, thanks for being here. Thanks for working together through a good year and a half. I think we were working on this. Through a lot of trials and tribulations. We look forward to working with you.
You would know.
Likewise, likewise. Thanks all. We appreciate
For
it.
sure. Have a good night,
Thank
folks.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Happy holidays. Thank you. Now, are we going to go back at this point, or do you want to?
Since Mr.
Yes.
Eckert's here, we
Okay.
might as well finish the Fast New York
Okay.
piece as well, if that's okay with you.
It's all right with me.
Folks, I'm gonna sign off. Great to talk to everybody.
Thank you, Chris.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Dean, if you could, you hand these down this way on your side, and these as well. Thanks. If you can pass this to those folks. And these. Thank you. Might as well have a copy of this.
Thank you.
So, I want to welcome back Mr. Eckert, as well as Connor and I, by the way, we're in New Jersey today, doing our favorite thing, trying to take manufacturers from New Jersey and bring them to Orange County.
oh, my heart bleeds for Jersey.
I know, right? I know, it's my favorite part, it really is. So, we had a great meeting, great visit, done some great work together, appreciate that. This is another thing. One more of those? Yes. This document?
The FYI.
Yes, that's it, so.
Can you just stand on this side?
Yes.
Thank you.
Gotta come. So Fast New York is something I talked about, going back to the time when we launched the Shovel Ready initiative, and I was really first, frankly, pitching that to you all. Fast New York is a relatively new program launched by Empire State Development, the New York State's economic development arm. It is aimed at really readying sites for significant projects. Shovel ready. It's exactly what we're looking to do, but they provide funding, and there are a few tracks that you can follow. I don't have the document in front of me now, but the first is towards entitlements, getting a site ready for shovel ready status. Thank you. The second track B is what we're talking about today, I believe, Connor, right? This track B we're pursuing, which is pre-development grants. Helping these projects move through those certifications, the approvals, and the last track is Fast New York infrastructure improvement, something else that's of course up our alley. But this evening we're bringing an opportunity to you that came to us late because frankly the partnership has been working on this, but working with the Montgomery IDA, and then kind of late in the process the Montgomery IDA decided to defer to us if we were open to it. So I had discussions with the director, several. We were working together as a team, and I did, after hearing enough, kind of vetting it through Connor a bit, I wanted to bring it forward to this board. So there's an opportunity on a site in the town of Montgomery. The town has, over the last year or two, Mr. Chris is well aware of this, the town has revamped their comprehensive plan, and they frankly looked to zone out warehousing and some other uses like that from many parts of the town. So there are limited development opportunities as a result of that at the end, but this property actually has connectivity to some services. It is in a zone where it could be used for what I'm calling higher yield projects. I've been saying to you a lot, tech projects, life sciences, etc. So it's a unique opportunity. Empire State Development, they were hopefully going to refund this program next year, but it hasn't been yet. But there's still some funding remaining, and we've worked closely with those departments. So we'd like to be aggressive here and work together, put an application together in the next couple of weeks for Fast New York. There's no commitment on our end in that we could pull out at some point. There is a match. It's up to $500,000 awarded by New York State. There's a match required at 50% of that. But there's a property owner in this case, a private property owner, and it is, we've triple checked with Empire State Development, that private owner can put up that match. So that's what we'd be looking to do. We wouldn't be looking to perhaps front some cash and have it being reimbursed, but that's something that the applicant is willing to do as well. So that's my initial kind of 20,000 feet overview of it. Tommy, you want to take it from there and then ask for any questions?
Well, thanks for the opportunity. Good to see everyone. So this site in the town of Montgomery contextually is on State Route 416 across from the Orange County Airport. Now it's roughly 110 acres, flat farm site adjacent to one of the biggest buildings in the Hudson Valley, Medline, at 1.3 million square feet. And as Bill alluded, the town changed the zoning. So on this site, you cannot do large-scale distribution, but what you can do is advanced manufacturing and manufacturing-oriented uses. And part of our concept here is focusing on a handful of sectors: life sciences and pharmaceutical production, the semiconductor supply chain, so the microelectronics, but the tools and the various components utilized in the manufacturing process. Those are separate manufacturing projects in and of itself. Clean tech, so think manufacturing solar panels, solar cells, clean batteries. There's a real opportunity in these sectors, and the essence of Fast New York is to apply or to award monies to advance the sites. So we would ask for roughly $500,000 from the state for seeker, and that monies are used to offset the cost of engineering, legal, of the seeker process itself, and the various nuanced costs. But the concept is multiple buildings ranging from 80 to perhaps 300,000 square feet to accommodate advanced manufacturing uses at a site where you can access Neelytown Road directly to 84 in a pretty established industrial ecosystem. So that's the thesis, and we think this could be a pretty dynamic advanced manufacturing park. Happy to answer any questions.
No, I was actually just past that site a couple of weeks ago, so it looks like they've already started some clearing on that.
Just a bit, it's a current farm site, so they clear it just generally for the farm purposes. But the food bank of the Hudson Valley is actually going to locate at the corner of that site.
Okay, that's what I said.
Yeah, 40,000 square foot food warehouse. But the balance of the property, the 110 acres, is prime for manufacturing oriented uses.
So my question is, and Sue Katzoff can answer this, is because there is an existing IDA within that zone, and since we cannot override an IDA, how would we be able to accomplish this without getting in trouble?
Do you want me to answer that, Sue?
Yeah, or you know, because Montgomery has an IDA.
Right, but you are the county IDA and you have concurrent jurisdiction with other IDAs within the county. So there may be an understanding, there may be a handshake deal, but you have the authority to do projects within the jurisdiction of the smaller IDA. But it's my understanding that the smaller IDA, the town of Montgomery, is passing on this opportunity for reasons unrelated to the opportunity itself, I think, and so.
I think Sue's thinking, we discussed this earlier also, is though that's the case, what you're saying, we wanted to know if we needed a formal deference, from Montgomery IDAs, but we have jurisdiction to begin with. So I believe it's been more of a courtesy where we have an unwritten rule where any projects stay with the local IDA unless they defer to us.
Okay.
And this is strictly for the grant itself, the application for the grant itself,
I understand
not so
that.
much a subsequent.
So, and my other concern is, like you said, Montgomery has said no more warehouses. All I hear are people wanting warehouses, and more towns are shutting that down. So, have you secured a manufacturing company that wants to go in there? Or is this just,
No,
build it and they will come?
Exactly. This is early on. This is developing the vision for a business park with attracting these types of businesses, and it's not even in a position to market it. So of course, the partnership being our main engine for that, because it's not ready. That's the idea of us trying to ready a project. So because it's all about sites and site readiness, predictability of the timeline. And so
And what is the current zoning of that property?
It is zoned, designation is high tech. So essentially, manufacturing uses where warehousing cannot be the primary use.
But there will be some warehousing involved.
As a component too, so many of these manufacturing facilities, even the one we toured today, the primary use is production, but they have warehouse storage where they ship out products.
raw
I'm just-
materials and products.
I'm just listening because I've also heard that there are cannabis manufacturers who are looking for sites close to farmland, and that is not too far away from a lot of the cannabis growing areas.
Yes.
Also.
Now,
Doctor?
do you go around looking for companies, like companies that will move in, or you just wait there and they come to
Talk
you?
about your approach.
All day, every day, sir. So part of our approach of the partnership, our approach of the partnership, so we're the private, not-for-profit economic development organization that covers this market, and what we do is we handle the site selection process. So companies, consultants, brokers who have these big companies will often come to us and will compete for these projects with other states, with other countries sometimes. Currently, we're working on around 15 different leads, 10 of them being manufacturing oriented. Various products, everything from, I mentioned solar panels, to we're working on a 200,000 square foot traction that is advanced packaging for pharmaceutical products. So really unique portfolio, but what's missing? The site, the park. This is it. You know, to Bill's point, to compete for these substantial manufacturing projects, you need to be shovel ready. You need to be quicker than the other community, the other state. In some cases, you need the spec buildings to be built, but right now we're starting out with just getting the site ready, fully prepared to accommodate these manufacturers. So yes, a lot of my time is spent trying to bring these companies here.
Another question, sorry. Has water and sewer been established that it's available for that site? Town of Montgomery has agreed to extend their water district, because I believe that ends right at that intersection.
Great knowledge. So there's two. So the village could offer water and sewer services, as could the town.
Well, there's no town water there. It's only from the village.
No.
And that's what I'm saying. Has anybody checked with the village to see the viability to extend the water lines to that area?
When you connected Chandler Lane?
So they just extended it to Dunn Road on sewer, and then the Medline has town services as well.
Okay.
Which is the adjacent.
It would have to come down the road though to get there. And they've agreed that they would be willing to supply it.
Yeah, so it's in the, I think that's...
Just making sure.
Yeah, no, I think it's in the Neely Town Sewer District. Again, which will be ironed out through the secret process.
Okay.
And I'm sure in this application to the FAST New York, I'm sure that's all gonna be disclosed. They're gonna wanna know all that information. And I would think there would be, deferring or not, or coming to the Orange County IDA because of our shovel-ready capabilities and what we've said we were willing to do to bring some of these companies in, that we have a little bit more resources in that regard.
Right.
I would think anyway. That was my first thought.
Just a couple of just so I understand it completely. So the ask is to support the application of the 500.
To authorize us to apply.
Okay.
Yeah, I would work with Connor over the next few weeks to draft that application and submit.
And the money's going towards entitlements, approval, seeker.
Correct.
So when that process is done, we could have a fully entitled site.
Exactly.
So how that fits into our mission of
The shovel ready.
Amen.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
And I heard $500,000 being matched by the state. That would mean we would have to come up with $500,000.
Well, the applicant's willing to do that, the property owner, I should say, we're the applicant, the property owner is, but it's $500,000 is what would be awarded by the state, up to that, by the state, it's a 50% match of that would be required. And it is a reimbursement, so, the money has to be put forward first. It sounds like the property owner is willing to do that, but that is obviously something we talked about doing as one of our
Does the
functions.
match have to be money, or could it be the land?
I believe it's financial, it's
Has to be a financial
dollars.
contribution.
Yeah.
So they can't use the land as a match.
I believe so.
What do you physically own? Is it, are you conveying 50% to the IDA, 50% to the owner? How does it work out?
Oh, no, so the property remains in the ownership of the current property owner, and the way the program works is either a town or an IDA is the vehicle for which the state awards the grant monies to, and then that entity then is, there's a sub-recipient beyond that. So the IDA takes no ownership stake in the property, really no financial, downside to it. You're really just the grantee, to which then it's awarded to the property owner to advance secret.
Property owner cannot apply themselves. As Connor said, it needs to be a municipality or a municipally designated IDA or LDC like us.
How does the profitability come back to the IDA?
Well, it's the projects that ultimately go there. I think that's something for us that we've already begun discussions
So we
with the
only-
Montgomery IDA and
we
something
only
Sucats
benefit-
offers.
Like we had before us today, we only benefit when someone comes to the IDA to get funding.
We only directly benefit with fees and such in that way. However, I think our mission also is to help create these sites to attract this development, directly but indirectly as well.
We're
So,
putting money into this.
well, in this case, we wouldn't necessarily be. We're just a conduit through which the funding
In
comes.
general, though, other sites we would be putting.
Correct.
We'd have to work through that.
We haven't even gotten anywhere near there. It's something we could consider here, but I think then your point becomes even more salient that what do we get, frankly, so.
So you still have to work through that.
Correct.
And approval of the $500,000 ask has nothing to do with a pilot or any tax incentive. This is strictly for the grant.
Correct.
So, I mean, we're really, I mean, right now, we're just spending anything, just, you know, our resources, your time, et cetera.
That's really what it is.
Correct, so.
We're lending
to
out
me, it's-
capacity, which Montgomery IDA was concerned they wouldn't have the capacity to really handle that on the back end, and yes, that's what we bring to the table as well right now.
Right, and some of the means we wanted to work closer with, you know, your organization as well. We have talked in the past, and I think this is a great start to move forward on some of this stuff.
I hope that it is,
Yes.
absolutely.
And at the end of the day, we can prove to the big manufacturers out there that we have the capacity to do this.
Right.
It just adds to our resume of reasons they should come here.
And just last out, Jeff, I see, but it's really for me as right now that the person who has the most at stake really is the landowner by putting up those funds himself for the property. So he really has you know, himself risk up. So.
Are there other county IDAs that have experienced this partnership that we could look at to see the pluses?
It is a pretty new program, less than a year, about a year old.
Yeah.
I believe, so.
There's some tremendous success stories thus far. I believe in this is very different. In Genesee County, they applied for a different track and they were awarded close to $90 million to extend infrastructure.
Didn't Larchmark get one? Somewhere over in Westchester? Larchmark?
I believe so. The town got one. Yeah, there's communities across the state that have gotten awards ranging from $500,000 in Binghamton to close to $90 million.
Awards from who?
From this
From
program
South
itself,
Side.
Empire State Development. So there's roughly $70 million left to spend in this program. So, you know, we're asking for up to $500,000 for seeker, but for infrastructure extension, there really is no cap on how much you can ask for, which was shown. You know, there's really some tremendous.
And this is step one.
This is step one.
I think there's positive opportunity here for our mission in serving Orange County and bringing in the kind of development that's desired by the town of Montgomery and the county. One question, or maybe it's two I have, is how much of our resources would be required? Is it mostly just a fairly straightforward application, or do we get involved in some other things that we don't get reimbursed for as well as they go through the shovel ready gets to be quite a process.
Oh, sure.
Of course, just looking at the $500,000 of the grant, and is it possible that costs could go over that? I presume the landowner would be responsible if it
That's the
did.
position we're kind of looking at. But
I think we could always step in though.
It's really $1 million, right? It's 500 and 500.
250.
Oh, 250. So
50%.
So 750. That can get approvals.
And I'm thinking,
I'm right,
just out loud
50%
here,
of the 500? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
if the infrastructure costs more than that, the IDA could step in and assist with that and take partial ownership of the property.
Right. Or apply for some of that.
Yeah,
Again,
I think there's absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just saying there are
Yeah,
ways,
absolutely.
if it's not enough, that, you know, we have money for shovel-ready initiative that could be applied to it.
To my point, so I think that's why maybe they're
But to
looking
get to
at
that-
Orange County, I think, so because of the resources that we have available.
We have deeper pockets.
But to get to that point, we have to go through the approval process. And
Right.
That's what this is for, right? So-
Does the IDA have the authority to buy and sell property?
Do we have the authority to buy and sell property? How would you answer that? Oh, you're
You're
muted,
on
sorry.
mute.
I think you're muted.
The IDA absolutely has statutory authority to acquire real property, to hold real property for investment purposes, and to sell real property. You have a disposition policy. It is governed by the PAAA. So the short answer is yes, you can buy and sell property. But I don't believe that is what is before you this evening.
No.
No, it's just to do can we do the application?
So Dean, one more question.
Absolutely.
I kind of piled two questions together. So filling out the application and getting that done
Yes.
would be most of our responsibility, and that shouldn't be too substantial.
If we're awarded the grant, of course, there's management, the administration of the grant,
Administration.
right? And there is an inflow and outflow that we would handle. We would be the conduit for that. So I think that, and then,
So the risk to us right now is applying for the grant, getting nothing, it's a little money that we spent to try to get that grant, right?
I mean,
Is anyone
besides
assisting?
staff time, there's no.
Is anyone else assisting us with the application?
No, it's mostly working with the partnership and, you know, with the technical guidance of Empire State
Okay.
Development.
Yeah,
We've got good relationships
So
there,
that's
so we've leaned on them and we'll continue.
Are you, Giovanni, are you asking like, you know, would there be, attorney costs or fees related to the?
No, usually when you
applying?
apply for an application for a grant, you're not guaranteed the grant, so
Correct.
that the risk is whatever time we spend in, if we don't get the grant,
Correct.
that's not.
That's really
reimbursed.
it. Time
That's-
spent.
That's what I'm saying.
Agreed.
It's an investment that I think it's willing to take, especially it shows depth to our organization, that which goes beyond just a taxing discussion, it's
Agreed.
actually what we really focus on right
And again,
now.
this fits in with the vision that we
Yeah.
all accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I think we're all excited by what we can, the impact we can make that way, so.
And I think this track B, the grant writing process itself is kind of straightforward. You give a property, you know, synopsis, a market overview. You go through some of the nuances on the infrastructure. Track C, the infrastructure money track, is very hands-on. We're applying on another site, and that is time-consuming. But track B, I think we could do pretty efficiently.
Yeah.
But that track, you'll have the
Pretty
engineer and all the
Oh,
other
yeah.
professionals that
Oh,
have to be
that's-
involved in it.
that's
But
what
that's
you're in
after you
secret.
already know you have a grant.
And that's where,
That's
without
where
giving
it's
out $9 million,
That's where it's spent.
there's a lot more accountability in that
Yeah,
sense, yeah.
that's great, thank you.
Is the expected at a later time reimbursement of the 250,000, that's separate from the 500, that doesn't come back out of the 500?
No, so I, you know, a lot of times with these grants, the state likes the applicant to have, or the owner to have skin in the game, so to speak. So this would be the skin in the game for them.
Would be their soft costs.
Right.
So in development, that's your cost of entitlement approval, so that's that beginning part of development.
So the total grant potentially will end up at 750.
Right.
Right. Well, 500 of
500.
public money and then 250 of private.
And it
Yeah.
could run higher than that, and at that point, we can choose to get involved differently.
Sounds good.
It's a baby step, but it's a step.
Right.
So we're looking
Exciting
for a motion to authorize myself to work with the partnership to apply for
I
Fast New
just
York.
have one
Go ahead, Ron.
crazy outside the box question. The Orange County Airport, do you know if that can sustain private jets, private corporate jets? Is that runway long enough for that?
Again,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
again. And it has, in fact. Emergency landings. I think last year, the popular celebrity Post Malone landed a jet, massive jet there as an emergency.
He's done first, and he won't be the
Right.
last.
That's right.
There's many instances of that. Yeah.
So what Mark said, when that was an emergency, but they can land there though, right? They have authorization to land there.
To land and take off.
As long as they pay the landing fees.
But
I'm a pilot, and typically they come to Stewart. It's so close, there's more advanced instrument landing systems, there's additional, double the runway length, so,
It's an extra 10 minutes.
yeah.
Okay. All right, with that, ask for a motion.
I'll make
to-
the motion.
Thank you, Giovanni.
I'll second.
Second. Jeff, thank you. Bill, ask for a roll call.
Sure.
On this, please.
Camberry,
Yes.
Palladino,
Yes.
Rinaldi,
Yes.
Green,
yes.
Oda,
Yes.
Christ,
Yes.
Walski.
Yes,
7 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Very good. Connor, thanks so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great trip today. Thank you. Working on these.
Appreciate it.
So when do we have to have this done, Connor?
Oh, that's
It's a rolling
as soon as
admission.
possible. As soon as possible. You know, I think if all goes right, we could get it done before the new year. If there's a slight delay, worst case is we're the first one in the queue for when they reappropriate the program. So either way, we'll get it in pretty quickly.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Sue Katz, I know you have some family things going on. I'd like to let you go unless you want to stay longer.
No, but that would be great. I just want to take 1 second and wish all of the board members a very happy and healthy holiday. Thank you for a great year, and please let me know if you have any questions.
One thing, the only thing I see, Sue, is I'll get it in executive session. Shall I give the update of what we talked about in our call with Micah the other day? I just want to keep the board updated.
You want me to? It's up to you. I'm happy to stay for that if you want me to.
I don't think it's
I
necessary.
can stay as much as you want me to.
I don't think it's necessary. I will.
There's not gonna be any action
There
afterwards.
isn't. No,
So
there's
if
really
no action after, then I don't
No
think
actionable update, frankly. So
So
I think we'll let you go, Sue.
There's no
actually.
action at all. Just an update. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Take care and enjoy your
Thank you.
holiday.
Good holiday.
Same to you, thank you.
Bye, Sue.
Bye.
I know.
Okay, Bill, those 3 items in new business finished. So we're gonna go back to the, we approved the minutes?
We
We
did.
did, correct? Thank you. And.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
No, we don't need that call anymore. We don't need the Zoom anymore. Sorry about
So,
that.
that's okay. So then, if you're prepared, we're on to
Ready.
the reports.
Absolutely.
of the CEO.
I am looking
That's
forward
okay.
to enjoying some holiday cheer with this group, and thanking you for all your tireless work throughout the year. There are no raises for anyone this year. Actually, double and triple if you like, for sure. But we look forward to that. So, just to go through a few things, I mentioned the trip to New Jersey. It was an advanced manufacturer down there. We've been to a couple of their sites, really impressive, and we worked with Steve Gross, the Director of Economic Development, so the three of us went down. I thought we really did a tremendous job trying to give them everything we had, let's put it that way. So I'll keep you updated on if we're able to land a project like that. Also, we have been working with Acquisitions Marketing, not just on the AV and live stream stuff, but they've been really ramping up social media for us. They've been generating a lot of content and working very closely with them. I met them at the Royal Wine site yesterday where they took drone footage of that site. We wrote a voiceover copy that really explained why that project is so impactful and why we're supporting it. So you're going to see a lot more of that. And I want to make sure they share the hashtags with you, Sue, because they're using those.
I love my
wholeheartedly.
hashtags.
No, and they know exactly how to use them, why to use them. So it's been really great with them. I hope you're seeing, starting to see some of that. Those of you that do follow social media. I've still been doing radio interviews as I continue to also. And we started this podcast concept. I've been getting a lot of texts and calls from people saying that they heard the podcast or they heard our advertisement for it. So
I hear the ad on WHUD.
we're getting a little traction there. We also have a 60-second kind of almost a PSA for the idea that's out there, and I have heard a number of people that have heard that as well. So just we're testing the waters here to try and use some of these other media to get our message out there. So, and I think we're really getting some traction. So I really have appreciated working with Acquisition, what they've been doing. Retirement plan, that's something we're continue to move forward with. We have everything in place, establish an investment account so that we can actually make the contributions and connecting that to Ethan Allen Workforce Solutions, which is our payroll company. Everything is moving forward there. We are looking to make our contributions for the deferred compensation for 2023. I think Dean, we're going to make a call just to Spectrum, who we've been working with, just to make sure we all have the warm and fuzzies we need to make sure, because the end of the year is closing, and we want to make sure we're able to make the contributions we need to.
And Mark obviously followed up as well, and obviously there's a time constraint in all the filings for this year, so.
And two other things. First of all, the New York State EDC, the Economic Development Council, kind of our trade association, they usually have a couple conferences a year, the one in Cooperstown in the middle of the summer, and early summer, and then in Albany in February. The February conference is in Albany, February 13th and 14th. I am registered for that, but I'm going to send tomorrow forward the conference information to you all. Still want to encourage you to some participation there.
Just nervous about the weather driving up the whole
Well,
thing in
that's
February.
That is a tough thing for sure. So that is coming up. I'll share that with you as well. We also have an update on our New York State Monitor from the Office of Inspector General. I had a lengthy conversation with them, though they are in what's technically a blackout period. The Inspector General's office launched an RFP for the Monitor, trying to find basically a public finance attorney, a legal firm, basically we'll have like a second Sukatsoff, essentially. They launched the RFP, the request for proposals, on November 13th. They were due back December 5th, so a couple of weeks ago. They are in a blackout period now. We're in December and in January. They're going to be evaluating the proposals. And then they're looking to have someone in place. Ideally, they're looking to have someone in place March 1st of 2024. And they had put out in the RFP that the expected contract would begin March of 24 and end July of 26. So the clock has been ticking on our 3 years. So by the time that they're in place, we'll be almost another year in, just 2 months shy of another year already in. So it'll be just over 2 years we'll have the Monitor in place. They do have in the RFP a maximum cost of $250,000 a year. So, and we just don't see any way with us doing some math on how many hours they spend here. It just doesn't seem possible. But you all did pushed back on me when I was doing budgeting and said put the biggest numbers in there. So that is what is potentially in there. And I will just read one piece from the RFP about purpose, essentially, the statement of work. The Office of Inspector General is seeking an independent monitor for the OCIDA to, 1, ensure transparency, 2, accountability to taxpayers, and 3, lawful conduct in all of its actions. That's the scope of the work. It's what we're doing now, what we're continuing to try and be better and better at. I'm still very confident that in the end this is going to be validation for us. It's going to be something we're going to be able to make some news about, the fact that this will prove that we've been doing everything right all along. But there are opportunities that it is in here. They can make recommendations for cost savings, other administrative types of improvements. I have to tell you, I'm going to be all ears. I want to continue to be better, as I said, and if they have some input there. One other curious thing in here is that when it talks about payment, it states here in the RFP, I've looked through the whole thing, that the Inspector General's office will pay for the appropriate invoices should go to the IG, and the IG will pay them the invoices. I'm not seeing anything about reimbursement or what, so I'm not sure about that piece. Frankly, I'm a little afraid to ask.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I really want to clarify that, but that is the way it's written, is the IG pays for it. That payment is made to the appointee by them directly, and they'll talk of more. So we are in a blackout period, but they did spend a lot of time with me to make sure that we understood how this was all structured, and then once they've appointed someone, then we'll be fair game to get further guidance.
Yes.
Doctor.
I think most of the time we should expose the good things that we do around, like
Absolutely.
Like the study, the impact study that was done on IDAs in general.
Absolutely.
We saw how much IDA is bringing in.
Correct.
But the people don't know about that.
You're seeing that in our social media now, thanks to acquisitions. We have a few memes and posts that highlight actually that report and the impact of even our own specific projects. So that's exactly what we're looking to do. And I'm talking about on the radio. I don't know who's listening. I know Jim, you hear me once in a while. So I'm always extolling those virtues. But absolutely, we need to continue to make news statewide, nationwide, and locally about the impact of IDAs, especially this one, of course.
When they do these, can they tag us?
Individually?
Yeah,
Like you
because
as
my feed on Facebook.
Yeah. Are you following us yet? Because
I am
once you
following
are,
you,
if you
but
see it in your feed, then you can share it, of course.
Well, it's just it, because my feed has so much in it.
Yep.
Even though I'm following you, it may not show up.
I'll talk to them about tag. If you're okay with that?
I'm okay, because
That
then
would
if I'm
certainly-
tagged, this way at least I can reshare it.
Absolutely. No, that would multiply the impressions.
Right, well, and that's what I'm saying, or if they're IGing it, tag me in IG.
Okay. I'll talk to them about that. Sure.
Yeah, I have no problem with that
Okay,
either.
great.
I don't see anything actually on my social media.
Really? Okay, all right. So, they're trying to build up our following, first of all, and then, work with the various algorithms in Facebook to make sure we're showing up in everyone's feed. So that's part of, we've been pretty dormant for a while, and that's part of the problem. So we've got to continue to kind of scale up there. And we're already seeing the numbers growing tremendously. They're showing us, they're paying very close attention to the analytics, which we were not getting before. So I'm expecting even greater reach as we go through the year. So that's that. I'm going to share the RFP. I'll send you the link to the RFP tomorrow. I actually tried to do it a couple weeks ago and apparently didn't go through, so I discovered that this week. But I'll share that with you and certainly keep you posted on that. Last piece of my report is we have been working with, Dean, if you could take one and pass these down. We've been working with capacity marketing, and really the focus, especially the last few months as we're kind of winding down with them, has been on our rebranding, the consideration of rebranding. Please. I don't have them here to talk about the research that they've done. They already did that and they've reported it to you, and I don't want them to come back here and put anyone to sleep again. So the research is not the most scintillating part of it. So I won't go into that background, but basically there are 3 tracks that I want you to consider. We can have some discussion tonight, but I'm not expecting it, frankly. I really want you to kind of take this home and marinate, let it marinate, as the kids say. The kids are 40 now. I do want you to consider that. And there are 3 tracks. We've talked about a lot of names, and I'm not giving you the research as to why these fit with what we're trying to convey, but there are 3 options that I want you to consider. One is no change whatsoever. Continuing to be the Orange County Industrial Development Agency, obviously the sister LDC being Orange County Funding Corporation. We're not even considering changing that name. But staying the same. I want to remind you, the reason we're looking at this is that IDAs around the state are looking to rebrand because there is a connotation around the name IDA and a bit of, I think, misunderstanding, a little kind of nebulous, abstract nature to it that a lot of people don't understand. So that's the reason why. That's why you're seeing Montgomery County Edge, think Dutchess, the agency in Broome County. That's the reason why. But I'm not saying we have to. If we keep the name the same, I would still like to, and there's a reason these are in black and white in the same font, because we don't want you thinking about the aesthetics of it, the design in any way. But if we decide any of the three, including staying the same way, I'd like to go back to them and have them give us a few options for a new logo redesign, so we can rebrand even if we keep the name the same way. So that's Orange County Industrial Development Agency, staying the same way. The other two are two names we came to. The first is what you see on the left, more established, more institutional, more rock solid, more staid, more maybe a little boring. I'll say, because it's the idea is that it's more again rock solid, established, institutional kind of name. Orange County Development Corporation. We had looked at Orange County Development Agency, Development Authority, because development is a little more of a catch-all for what we do. But Orange County Development Authority or Agency would be Orange County DA, and we just thought that would be very confusing. So Orange County Development Corp, Orange County Development, or OCDC, it fits perfectly with Orange County Funding Corporation as the two sisters, of the two sides of the coin there. But again, not blowing anyone away. But the reason for us to do the second one, in my opinion, is if we do want to get away from the IDA and tweak it a little bit, but do something that still applies very much, and we can create some new branding. The last option is in the more forward-thinking, a little bit more abstract, Advance Orange County. The name that was presented by by Capacity, there were a couple that were kind of finalists they brought to us, was Advance Orange and Innovate Orange, because we talked about innovation and such. And as innovative as I want to be, and I think we are with shovel-ready and some of the things we're doing, I'm not sure that innovation is the word that describes what we're doing, with all due respect. I hope it is one day, but I'm not sure. It may be reaching. But advancing the economy and the well-being and the quality of life in Orange County, that absolutely is the case. It was Advance Orange. I just felt that it was a little too abstract. And it sounded like perhaps some nonprofits or something where you're not really sure. Advance Orange County made it a little more salient, I believe. But again, happy to have some discussion now, but not expecting it. I'd like you to think about it, and I'd like to, as I often do, and I'll be reaching out to each of you, I'd like to get your take on it. And then in the new year, soon in the new year, in January, frankly, I'd like to decide on, we all agree, and here's the track we're gonna pursue, and I'd like to come back with some actual rebranding options, and we consider that, and then we go through rebranding with the website. Obviously, we're gonna rebuild the website, do our social media, on our building. We don't have any signage for that reason. We're waiting to do that, but that's where we are. We've looked at a couple dozen options, just so you know, and all the research behind it. We boiled it down to these three different tracks that I'd like you to mull over. Okay. Any immediate questions, Jeff?
You mentioned a couple new names and other IDAs.
Yes.
If you could send us a link or share with us
I
a
was thinking the
list
same
of those.
thing.
Great idea.
Thinking the same thing.
Just helps our thought process.
And the agency doesn't have to be IDA. It could be whatever you.
It doesn't. One of the only considerations, though, about the name changes, we may have a tagline under it or some words that are under it. We want to make sure, with IDAs, at least those in the business, so to speak, in the development world, the attorneys in the public finance sector, they know that IDAs are where you come for incentives. So if we take away IDA, some ideas have been, let's say, Advance Orange County, and underneath it says Industrial Development Agency. Or it could say incentives, innovation, vision. It could be something like that, where we're communicating the fact that you do come here for incentives. Because with all due respect to our partners, you don't go to the partnership for incentives. You don't go to the chamber for incentives. This is the only place you can come for economic incentives to these projects. So we do need to communicate that. If it's not inherent in our name, we need to find a way through a tagline or something else. We feel, and in the capacity is really urging, so that people that need to find us can do so.
And what about a time frame? I mean, is there anything like that?
We've been working on this for a good year between the research and then kicking it back and forth, and there are a few times where frankly I had to say, I gotta just process this and I've gotta kind of think it over, and you know, over the last few weeks it came to this where I think these are the three avenues I wanted to present to the board. I don't want to inundate you with options. So I would like to revisit this conversation, most likely at our next meeting in January, and get your take, and then if you don't make a formal decision or you know, really give me, say this is what we want because there's consensus, then I'll take the feedback and make a decision and recommendation of the board ultimately. Let me see if I go to I think that's the end of my report. Just next month again, we'll do the annual report, going over this matrix of the status of projects, and we'll do our policy review. So just looking ahead to next month on it. That's it.
Bill, would you want to say anything about the food bank and project?
Yeah, so that's we were approached by the food bank project that Connor was talking about, and Jeff probably could speak even greater detail. It's an incredibly significant project for the entire region. Right now, the Hudson Valley Food Bank operates mostly out of Latham, up in the Capital District area, and a lot of food that comes down to this entire Orange County and Point South. But a lot of it's coming directly from Latham. There is a location for the Hudson Valley Food Bank in Cornwall right now, but they just sold that building. It's a very small location, very difficult logistically and such. So this is a major project, as Connor said, to construct a 40,000 square foot distribution center. They'll be adding an additional 22 employees to the crew that they already have in Cornwall now. And they'll be having basically about 3,000 volunteers working at the site year round. So the economic impact just of those going to lunch and things like that. So it's a very important project. They've come to us to ask if there's any way kind of related to our shovel ready project that we can support the project. There is significant infrastructure work tied to this other site that's nearby. So we've been talking with Sue Katzoff. She was away last week, so we just really had some of those conversations in earnest this week about what we can do and what we can't do. So that's just kind of framing it, Jeff. Is there anything you want to?
No, that's good. Perfect. Thank you, Bill.
Well, I think we're going to revisit that after we've had more discussions with the attorney and see if it's something that we think makes sense that I would bring to the board for consideration.
So we're really talking about some sort of like a donation or something, some funding to that.
There are restrictions to what IDAs can and can't do in that regard. So I'm probably hesitant to name too many things because I don't want to wade into anything that really isn't legal for us. Obviously, we'll be taking counsel's advice. But yes, something, probably a contribution that assists towards the infrastructure work that's required there. To me, that makes the most sense because it's us funding something that's enabling development. And it's not just a charity, project, frankly. So I'm telling you, there's true job creation there, there's real economic impact, and it is an incredibly regionally significant project, really, for the mid to lower Hudson Valley.
That place gets a boatload of volunteers, and there is no place to park in Cornwall.
Yeah, it's not the right location, but this is a pretty great project, the location.
That would really benefit Montgomery.
Definitely.
The restaurants and stuff down there?
For sure. Definitely. So I plan to come back, but thanks, Jeff, for raising it. I'll at least get you something to think about so you're prepared. Yeah, if and when we do come back with a real opportunity. That is it, sir.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And continue on the reports, the Finance Committee. Mark, if you want to describe the activities of the finance.
Yeah, so I mean, some of the things we've already discussed, right? So we're not going to rehash some of that, but, the hospitality, Wallkill, we talked about that.
Correct.
So moving on. So we'll just focus really quickly on where we are for the month and maybe more importantly for the year. Nothing really jumps out as far as anything significant. For the month when it came down to earnings versus expenses, we're a net loss of $38,000. For the year, we're compared to budget, we're $16,000 ahead of budget for the year, which is nice. But a big component of that is, by the end of the year, we will have probably over $200,000 in interest earnings from from our investments, so.
Nice.
It sounds like that party will be over sometime in 2024, but we're
Well,
making pay as long as we
I
can.
wouldn't say it's gonna be over, it's just,
Sunsetting, maybe.
it just won't be, you know, it won't be a block party, it'll be a house party.
It'll be a
You know,
housewarming.
so, you know, I fully expect, and we touched on it with you know, with the OCFC, interest rates will be, in all likelihood, edging down. And you know, we'll talk about TDs in a few minutes, but why we had a different approach with the IDA versus the OCFC. But I don't foresee the interest rates going back to, you know, zero. So there still will be some opportunity there, but certainly not the windfall that we've experienced. So as far as the overall budget goes, you know, we're fairly in line. As far as expenses, you know, vendor payments, you know, everything pretty much lined up to last month as far as any kind of payments go. Other than, you know, a pretty significant drop in, how do you say it, Bousquet Holstein?
Yeah.
You know, there was a $4,000 drop there, so that was probably the only thing on that side. And then on vouchers and payments, you know, we had transcriber Francis Roth, so we had some additional there, and we had a yearly, you know, NYSEDC. What is that? An application?
That's our annual membership fee.
Membership fee.
Yeah, our dues.
And you know, so really, as far as expenses go, not much. As far as revenue goes, you know, I don't know if did we get anything new in as far as other than the interest expense.
We haven't had any closings.
We had closing for OC Hospitality,
Yeah.
that hotel.
Okay.
Not an enormous amount because we reduced with our fee schedule revisions, you know, we reduced them for when someone's just applying for sales tax and mortgage reporting tax, so just under $10,000.
Yeah. So anything other than the CDs that I've missed, Dean, or anyone can think of. And then, you know, as far as CDs go, we have 2 CDs coming due within a few days of each other, the 27th of December, the 4th of January. That's going to, you know, net over $6 million to reinvest. And so, you know, we came up with a plan. We think that it makes sense to take out of that $6 million, put $5 million in a one-year CD with Lakeland Bank at over 5%, 5.1%, to lock that in, because again, there's that inversion. The longer term rates are getting less than the shorter term rates. And then we're going to take $1 million and put that into a 3-month TD at 5.35% annual. This way, we wanted to make sure that we did have liquidity if some of these shovel-ready started coming up and opportunities, and so we'll reassess that in 3 months. But that was the plan that seemed to make the most sense to lock in profitability and also have the flexibility / liquidity. Any thoughts on that or questions as far as that goes? Why we did it? And I think that's pretty much the wrap up.
These are all guaranteed, right? They're the same, you know.
Right?
You mean the investments? Yes, absolutely. It's $250,000 FDIC, but then there's a collateralization agreement from each institution
Do we
beyond
get that each time, or?
I think it's a blanket agreement that the institution has had with us that's kind of tied to that.
Well, let's a good point. Maybe we can ask.
Each institution for.
Well, specifically Lakeland.
Yep.
Right. If we're putting $5 million in for a year, I'd like to.
I'd like to know
Yeah.
that
I'd like to.
specifically
Yeah.
we're covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did address the first couple of times, but I think that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. That's
Yeah.
smart to do.
Yeah, let's
That's
put that on the finance agenda.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kelly, let's add that to finance for January, please, and we'll talk to the institutions about it. Yeah, thanks for raising that.
I would also think as we're renewing these or making these new CDs, we can just ask quick.
Yeah,
Because it's an excellent question, and it's not guaranteed unless the bank has those
That's
arrangements.
what they ask.
Yeah,
Yep. And we've asked them all, but are they doing it for every single one? Is that understood? That's a fair question.
New year, new opportunity.
Absolutely,
sure.
So,
definitely.
so I would say that's it for me.
Thank you, Mark. Very good details.
So should we
I
vote to
appreciate
accept?
it. Yes. Hearing the Finance Committee report for the IDA, ask for a motion to accept the financial, for the
Make a
committee
motion.
report. Thank you, Sue. Second?
I'll second.
Second, Jeff. Any other questions or comments related to the Finance Committee? If not, I'll ask for a vote for approval of the Finance Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I don't think it's necessary for roll call. And the Governance Committee,
Yeah, same report, of
Right.
course, slate of officers, committee assignments, as well as our project review, and our policy review. So that was all done for OCFC as it was OCIDA. Just to remind you, all of our committee meetings, we run one for OCFC, one for IDA, every single one is per Sue's guidance over the last year. So same thing for governance, but again, we're gonna address that in January. We'll actually ask for you to ratify those in January.
so there wasn't any action, but I'm gonna ask, as we did for the OCFC, to accept the Governance Committee report. So I ask for a motion. for
I'll
that.
make the motion.
Thank you, Sue. Second? Thank you. Thank you. Second, Mark, any questions, comments? If not, ask for approval for that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So that's the governance and new business. I struggle a little bit because it seems like we're, repetitive.
It is, but
repetitive.
we haven't done
We
these.
are gonna go through it. So, well, I know Mark just detailed it, we'll go again, except the financials of November 2023 financials, that's in your packet.
I would make a motion to accept the financials as presented and reviewed by the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Sue. This for a second.
Go ahead.
Dr. Odak, second. Any other questions, anything related to the financials for November 2023? If not, I'll ask for a vote to accept those financials. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Passes. Approval for the December 2023 payables that was outlined from Mark.
I just have one question on that.
Sure.
Because I see we have a bill from Feltza Engineering. Did they send any kind of report of what they've done?
They did. Yes.
Okay, only because I haven't seen anything.
No, we haven't been sharing those, but I can share them if you wanna see. Those
Yeah, because
reports.
they're supposed to do it.
No,
I
I would like to see it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
don't mind paying them, but.
No, absolutely.
We get a report monthly from them.
Pardon?
We get a report monthly from them.
Okay, I'm just saying, we don't see them, so to see a bill and not have anything tangible with it.
And we did discuss that in the committee, that they've been doing a good job. Because I believe it was Jim, you had
Jim
asked
asked
about the Loki.
Loki Grill,
Yeah.
Invoice as well, so.
so.
Okay.
The agreement with them included a pretty sizable reporting fee every month, and we've reduced it because they've done less projects, so if they're charging the same. I said, you're only doing 2 projects, they've reduced it, but we're looking to phase them out as those projects close.
Right.
And, it's a more economical, arrangement with Lynn and Bellinson.
For not only for the idea, but also for the.
For the applicant,
For the
correct.
applicant.
You're right, Zap compares those costs, yeah.
Thank you, Sue. Anything else? If not, ask for a motion for approval for the, December 2023 payables.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Oda. Second?
Second.
Second, Jim. With that, ask for, approval for that, a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? No? If not, motion approved. And certificate of deposits, again, we've discussed it. Seems a little redundant, but it's necessary to approve it.
Yes.
So, any questions, comments related to the recommendations of the Finance Committee? If
I'll
not,
make a motion.
make a motion, Jeff, second?
Second,
second Sue. No more questions, ask for approval for that, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, none? So moved. And as for a motion, we're down to the
We're
executive.
down to exec session, we'll just have a brief session. We could do that, but looking for a motion to go to executive session to discuss legal litigation, possible litigation.
And just the only thing I just wanted to just add to that, there won't be any action after or related to that, correct?
No, there will be none.
So with that, ask for a motion for.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Giovanni. I'll second it. All in favor to go into executive session?
Aye.
Welcome back, everyone. We're out of executive session. It's 3:40 p.m.
6:40.
6 what?
In California. It's 6:40.
That's what I said.
You said
didn't
3:40, sorry.
I I did? Yeah. That's 3, okay. 6:40 p.m. New York time. In case everybody wanted to know, thank you. With that, we have no further business. I'm going to ask for a motion for adjournment. Jeff, second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Sue. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you, Bill. It was a great 2023. I appreciate it. I want to wish everyone Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and Happy Holidays. Thank you.
Thanks very much.